Welcome back to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. And today I just wanted to jump on here and talk about what's going on in the Steelers world right now. So, as we speak today, the Steelers did their joint practice with the Buccaneers today. But before we get into that, um, just want to kind of just go over some things that's happening, with the team as training camp winds down and we get closer and closer to the regular season. So, I mean, honestly, some of the things I want to talk about is not really. I mean, well, I will say is major stuff. So the first thing that we want to get into is 2 weeks ago I had the opportunity to go and go to training camp. And I will admit, the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they're like, I think it's the Steelers and maybe I know Buffalo. I think the Buffalo Bills do it for sure. I think Kansas City and I think Green. No, I don't think Green Bay does it. But you have a couple of teams that go away to colleges and practice. But I will say, well, it's over now. But if you have never been, next year you want to definitely put that on your bucket list because the Steelers actually do a great job of with the entertainment. They have a lot of stuff for the kids, a lot of different little things they can do. They got a huge store where you can buy almost anything. Um, for the most part, even if you want to get autographs, you got to be kind of aggressive a little bit to get close to the fence. But it's a great setup that for the most part the guys, it's easy to get the guys to sign. It seems like they sign more after practice than they do, before practice. They have food there. They have food trucks. So I just a shout out to the Steelers for that. Like I say, it's a great experience. That was actually my second time ever attending training camp. The first time was maybe like 20 years ago. I want to say Cordell Stewart and Jerome Bettis was on the team at the time, but they do a good job. And actually, wherever you really sit, you got a good view of practice. You can just sit back on them heels and just relax and watch a little football. Actually, the day I went, the weather was nice. It probably was like high 70s. I have heard that at the beginning of training camp it was pretty hot. So there's no shade. Well, there's a little bit of shade if you get lucky. There's a couple of trees you can get up under, but for the most part, there's no shade. So you have to come prepared for that. But again, it's a great experience, and I would advise anybody if you can, you want to do a little walking. It's something pretty nice to go see, at least one time. But with that said, let's get right into it. So Omar has kind of finally been hit with. I ain't gonna say no. I won't really say it's drama, but he's dealing with a situation with Cam Heyward and Boz, which I think Boz is really not. It's important. It's very important, but I think Boz is really easy situation to take care of. I think with Boz, they just have to pay him. I mean, just pay him. He's earned it. He deserves it. Um, it's almost fair to say he's probably the best kicker in the league right now. So I think with Boz, that'll be an easy fix there. He'll, I think the Steelers will go ahead and pay him, but the situation is going to be Cam Heyward, and we kind of talked about this last night on the Smash the Gas podcast. And me personally, I believe that yeah, in the long run, it's not really it wasn't really a great thing the way Cam kind of did it. But I get it. I get it. The man want to be paid. He had a Pro Bowl year. Well, actually, he had an All Pro year, and he he's like probably a good $10 million below the number one guy in his position as far as getting paid. Um, I believe the Steelers will work it out. I think they will work the situation out. It seems like about the best they probably can do is maybe give him another $4 or $5 million, get him up to like about $19 million. Um, and I think that's probably about what the Steelers gonna do. Me personally, I believe if they go ahead and take care of Cam, this is probably going to be his last year as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Um, so we'll see what happened there. And so one of the things was that the Steelers leaked this information, in which I really don't think they did. I think Cam people leaked it because I think they kind of knew what was coming as far as the um the backlash, and he's getting a lot of backlash from a lot of the fans, and so like I say, I get where he's coming from. It's kind of jacked up the way it all came down, but the Steelers know that, they got something special. Maybe they have something special this year, and Cam Heyward is a big part of that. And so I think they will work something out with him and get this done and move on from this. But I truly believe this is probably going to be it for Cam, and I think Cam probably knows that a little bit. I mean, he may try to stick around a little bit more, but I think for the most part, this might be it for him. Again, with Boz, it's simple. I mean, you got to pay him. I mean, like I say, he's probably the best kicker in the NFL right now. So whatever, and I don't really know his contract situation, but um, they're gonna have to make him probably. I mean, at this point, you got to make him the highest paid kicker, and I don't really see that as a big issue. So I think with Boz, that'll get done. It might be one of those things that right before the season get going, but I think they'll get Boz done. Cam Hayward is going to be the issue, and the Steelers they might they might just say, hey, you know what, we you signed the contract last year, and that's what we gonna work with. So this is a very interesting situation, and like I say, I believe the Steelers will get it done, but you never know. You never know. Um, Looking at the game last week, I will admit the offensive line played fairly well. A little concerning they couldn't run the ball. Um, so that's something they got to work on a little bit. Um, I've said it, and I always will say it. The key is going to be Broderick Jones. The film came out. Well, the film I seen came out today, as far as all his snaps. And I have to be fair. He did some good things, but he has a long way to go. He has a long way to go, and this is going to be a very fluid situation here because I mean, this is going to be one of the things that I'm going to look for on Saturday is you got to see him just constantly improving, because the Steelers really going to count on him a lot, and he can whatever the Steelers decided they wanted to get done on offense. He's a major key, and um, he just got a long way to go. Like I say, I'm going to be totally fair. Didn't play bad. Didn't play bad, but for number one draft pick, and you moved up to get him, and what you really expect and what you need out of him wasn't good enough for me. I'm just gonna keep it honest. To me, it wasn't good enough, and be honest, that performance that he had Saturday, like I say, he's building and he's going in the right direction. I give him that, but to be honest, if he was playing Miles Garrett or somebody like that, or somebody close to that caliber, he would have got whipped all day. And who to say Rodgers even finished the game? Um, so it's just gonna be just baby steps with him. So he has to build on the positives that he did last week, and he has to keep building on that, keep working on that. The only thing that um it's kind of disturbing is a little bit is he lost weight. I mean, I was listening to one guy. They were saying that they ain't even sure if he's 300 pounds. Um, and this is something that did notice. Darnell Washington is bigger than him by a lot. That's crazy, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess he lost his weight thinking that's gonna make him quicker or whatever. But even if he's just even 300, that's kind of light for your left tackle. But you know, we'll see. We'll see how that works out for him. But like I say, he just got to build on from last week, in which it was more positive than negative, I would say. But the positives that he had, some of the positives that he had, was just I expect more. I expect more. Now, if he's what he did is something that I expect Dan more. And I'm just keeping, and it's not that I'm hating on Broderick, but I'm 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 grading him, and I'm expecting more out of him, and the Steelers are gonna need more out of him. So with that said, hopefully he can work on you know getting better, and I haven't seen the reports of practice of what he did in practice this day, but Saturday I would definitely be watching him and see how he does, and hopefully, like I say, he can keep stacking and getting better every day. So, is it time for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get a wide receiver too? Absolutely. And this one, I'm going to lay this right on Mr. Omar Khan's lap because I don't I don't know. I don't know why the Steelers is kind of fooling around with this. Um, my thing is this, and I even said this yesterday on our show. To me, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they can call it what they wanted. People can say what they want. At the end of the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers are all in for this season. They're all in. Yeah. Now, did the moves they have made? They didn't have to really give up any capital, major capital to get the players that they got, but the moves that were made, the Steelers are all in for this year. And with that being said, you got a 41-year-old quarterback. Um, if he can do what everybody expect that he's probably can do, I'm not wasting Aaron Rodgers with a Roman Wilson that haven't I mean only took maybe 5 or 6 NFL snaps in his career. I'm not excited. Okay, he caught 2 balls last week. Okay, that's good. I mean, he's a receiver. Hell, that's what he's supposed to do. But I'm not um I'm not just taking that chance. I mean, he can develop as the season goes, and then maybe next year if the Pittsburgh Steelers is going through that transition with either a rookie quarterback or Mason Rudolph, okay, you can really put him out there, and I'm assuming any number two receiver that they sign, it's probably just going to be a 1 year deal. So Wilson probably going to come into next year as the definite number two. At least he should. If he show that he can handle it and he show improvement, he should come into next year as that number two guy. But for this year, being all in, I'm not taking that chance because if DK Metcalf get hurt, you trying to tell me that you're gonna make Roman Wilson your number one guy? No way. So I'm not even going that route. Uh, Me and I've been on record um saying that if he's healthy, um I want Amari Cooper. I think for what the Steelers need, because I mean DK is obviously the number one, but what the Steelers need, they need a guy that's gonna move the chains. They're gonna, they need a guy that's gonna be compatible with Rodgers. Can come in here, learn his offense quick. Run precise routes, in which that's what Amari Cooper is. I can 100% guarantee you, after practice, those young guys, Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson, they're not going to be running over there to DK. They're going to be running over there to Amari Cooper and watching this guy and watching his footwork, because that's what he is. He's probably one of the best route runners in the league right now. And he's what, 31? So, the Steelers not in this offense. They're not looking for a guy that got to come in here and catch 80 balls and put up 1,200 yards. No, they just need a professional route runner, a guy that, hey, when it's 3rd and 5 and DK is getting double teamed, this guy can win quick off the line of scrimmage, and that's what Amari Cooper can do. Solid hands. And also, if DK was to get hurt, and say he's hurt and he's missed 2 weeks, I have more confidence in Amari Cooper being that number one for those 2 weeks, where I think the offense could still function compared to putting Roman Wilson or Calvin Austin out there. Steelers seen that. They've seen that show with Pickens, when Pickens was out for 3 weeks, and that's something everybody kind of forget. When Pickens went out for them 3 weeks, this offense burned. It crashed and burned, like, because you didn't have no receivers out there. Another guy that last couple of days, his name had popped up, Odell Beckham. Um, really wouldn't have a problem with Odell, even though I think I thought he was kind of washed. But again, Odell, one thing about Odell, his route running is not as disciplined as Cooper's is. Cooper probably is more of a disciplined route runner. Odell kind of freelance a little bit. But still, I feel better with an Odell Beckham than going in there with Roman Wilson. And I also think Rodgers probably feel the same. Then the other guy, Gabe Davis. Um, I'm not really too high on him. The only thing about him, the Steelers did bring him in, and the Steelers are known for that. You know, bring a guy in. Maybe if they don't sign him right then, they'll circle the wagon and go back with him. So he could be a possibility, but I really don't think he's what the Steelers need. Because to me, he's a one trick pony, and he's just gonna run deep. I mean, he's not really that much of a route runner. Kind of stay hurt a lot, but we'll see. As far as the trades, I just don't see it happening. I mean, Scary Terry, it would be nice. It would be nice, but I just don't see the Steelers giving him $30 million, and that's what he wants. He wants to be paid. I mean, hell, he's going to make 25 um this year. So he ain't about to come here and make what he was going to make, this year. I mean, he wants to be paid. He wants to be a number one. And I don't see the Steelers paying two receivers $30 million apiece. Even though they got the money to do it and they won't be paying the quarterback and all that stuff, I don't see the Pittsburgh Steelers doing that. And on top of that, I mean, they still got some high price situations coming up, you might well say, because if Porter, if he, I hope people realize if Porter turns it around and really has a solid year, in which it's a possibility that he could do it, especially with that that defense they got this year. You're talking about he gonna be asking for almost $100 million. So it's the Steelers can't be tying up $60 million in two wide receivers. I don't see that. I see them getting a guy, maybe pay those guys $2 or $3 million or add some incentives to their contracts or whatever. Then going into next year, they probably draft a guy and then let that guy and Roman Wilson battle it out, and you're gonna have a cheaper guy on the other side. But to have two $30 million receivers, that don't even make sense because the Steelers' offense ain't even designed like that. Unless Arthur Smith is gonna totally change and be on something different, it ain't even. I mean, Rooney ain't going for that. But anyway, so that's the situation with the number two wide receiver. And the last thing is my man Beanie. So everybody kind of, for the most part, we pretty much know who's not gonna make this team. And you got hands off to Omar Khan. He's brought in a lot of good players, and the competition is fierce, and it's just not a lot of spots. And that's a sign of you being a good team when you can go into a training camp and it's just not a lot of spots um, to be had. That's letting you know that you have a pretty good team. And I think right now with Beanie's in a situation where it's just a lot of good guys. I mean, Echols, and I mean he's behind a lot of guys, and Beanie's really not an outside corner. And then with Ramsey going to be moving around, bouncing around, um, it's really no, spot for him to really see the field. Now the only good thing for him is Kent is out, and I think he's going to be on the IR. Um, at this point, I don't see how uh, Trace can make the team. He's always in the tub. I mean, unfortunately, the kid got all the tools, but his body has failed him at this point. So I don't see him making it. So that's actually a good thing for Beanie, that those two guys are probably going to be out the picture. But he's kind of like my surprise cut. Um, you know, like I say, for the most part, you can look at the Steelers roster right now, and you can almost X out all the guys that are not going to make it. But I think Beanie is going to be the surprise cut. But we'll see. We'll see how he do this week. And something funny. Now I didn't notice this until I really was looking at the film. If you watch the one play where Peyton Wilson picked the running back up and slammed him, and I was thinking like, damn, why you do my man like that? But if you watch it before Wilson got hold to him, if Wilson don't grab that guy, he probably to the house. And Beanie Bishop came over there to try to make the shot. I mean, he dude ran him flat over, like just trucked him. As the young guys say, he gave him the truck stick. So that was kind of funny. But with that said, that's pretty much it. Well, the Steelers is going to have a joint practice with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One of the things that I want to see out of that is and the game is obviously my number one thing is Broderick Jones. See how he do. I mean, the Bucs really don't have any stud DNs. I mean, they got some good guys, but they don't really have nobody that he shouldn't be able to handle. So this should be another game that he could stack some positive things and keep his confidence up. I want to see the Steelers secondary against the Bucs receivers, and which that'll be good. I mean, it's going to be basically strength on strength. I want to see how Porter holds up, on his side of the field, because it's already been kind of said Ramsey going to take the number one every week. Now, I don't know about it in preseason how he's going to do it, but in the regular season, he's taking the number one guy every week. So that's a good thing for Porter. So those are some of the things that I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing, and also watching the game and seeing how that goes. So that's really about it. So with that said, we will talk to you guys probably Sunday. We probably do something Sunday. We'll talk about the preseason game and talk about who we thought had a decent game and who probably cut themselves. So we'll see. So with that being said, you guys take care, and I will talk to you later. All right, bye-bye.